Welcome back to my channel. It's Angela. I'm doing a few videos today, I think. It is Sunday, June 1st, 2025. I didn't do this last week or the week before, I don't think, but this is my week ahead spread for the week ahead. I'm using usually I use the outgoing deck, but I'm actually using a deck I'm going to be using in the week. I pulled a card from the Cosmic Crossroads Oracle over here. And then the main deck I'm using for this week ahead spread is the Joker Tarot, and that is here. And since I've gotten this deck in the mail, and that's by Los Scarabeo. It was on Amazon for like $25. This is also a deck that was a Kickstarter a few months back, so don't know why all of a sudden they went Kickstarter with it, but they did, and now they're selling it on Amazon or through whatever, Llewellyn, whatever, for like $25. I don't know why, but I've been intrigued with this deck since its inception, and I even followed the Kickstarter, even though I did not back it on Kickstarter. I'm like, well, it's Los Scarabeo, they're eventually going to sell it, and of course I was right. So I just got it, waited patiently, and even then I'm like, I need this deck. I don't know why. It's very dark to me. And then the second I got it in the mail, it said do a week ahead spread. So here we are doing a week ahead spread with it. Don't know why, but it's calling me to do the week ahead spread with this specific deck this week. If you're just tuning in, I always do the energy, obstacle, and advice of the week ahead. And I pull an oracle card sometimes I don't. I did get called to use this specific oracle card with this tarot deck, so I'm pulling a card. This is my first look at how these are going to work together. Now, I do have another tarot deck that has been calling me that it told me to pair it with the Joker Tarot. And I've already done a couple of sample cards between these three decks, and they are freaking amazing. So it's going to be an interesting week, because both to me are dark decks. And so it's more of a call to do some shadow work. And I'm just trying to branch out and see what this Joker Tarot does other than that, because I know it's going to be good for shadow work. So usually I do the energy and obstacle advice of the deck that's I used for the previous week. I didn't really use any decks last week. It's the first time in years that I have not actually used the deck the whole week. I did get the tarot disassembled in, and I kind of used it the last couple of days, but I didn't use anything the first few days of the week. Last week, partially because Monday was our holiday, so we weren't at work, and I just didn't do anything all day. So, here we go. Enough rambling. I have these three cards. So, for the Oracle deck, and this is a Hay House deck. It was an indie deck as well at one point. We have Connection. This actually looks like the Three of Cups, maybe. But this is an Oracle deck. So, I'm going to... For some reason, this is what came to mind when I said I would use this deck with this deck this week, and use it for the week ahead spread. Something in my higher self, whatever, said whatever card you get, look at the word and write it down, do whatever you need to do to remember that word, connection, and think about how many times that word applies to you or even comes up this week. Like I keep hearing like someone's actually going to say the word connection multiple times, and it's my duty to find out how many times it's used or said or whatever for the week. So that's interesting. But connection, it's wants you to make a connection, or not even with other people. I mean, this one does look like the Three of Cups. So make a connection with your friends, somebody you haven't been around in a while. I know we just had a holiday here in the U.S. There was a connection with family, a reconnection of family, if you will. But it really is driving home for me to let you guys know, how does this word apply to you? Really take into account that specific word and how it applies to you this week coming. So that's quite interesting. Okay, so for the energy of the week, I pulled the Six of Swords. And I find this card interesting because usually you see people going off on a boat. This one almost feels like there is something bigger guiding the boat into calmer waters, which I find interesting because I've been doing a lot of watching things and hearing things about portals and we're but a grain of sand in this big world. And that's what I feel here is, yes, you're moving on to calmer waters, but is it you guiding you, or is it something else driving you there? And again, the word connection comes up, is maybe there needs to be a connection with higher self, or being more one with the universe. For some reason, there's a feeling of I'm just the peon here, waiting for the boss to tell me what to do, kind of situation. But it's on a global, worldly, universal scale to me, which is interesting. So something has happened, and now we're moving on to calmer waters, and it's not even like we're carrying ourselves to the calmer waters. Something is forcing us into that calmer water because we're trying to stay in the area where we're drowning too long. So it's something else beyond our control forcing us into the calmer water, which is quite interesting. So for the obstacle of the week, I got the Five of Swords. A lot of swords here. And yes, this deck is really shuffled. So, yeah. Five of Swords is a battle. And again, it feels like you're fighting yourself. The swords is all about the mind. And everything, to me, to do with the swords is you're fighting yourself. The Five of Swords, you're fighting versions of yourself. You're fighting against the grain. You're fighting against the calm waters that's trying to carry you to safety. And you're like, no, I need to be in this turmoil, but you don't. So whatever turmoil is going on, and I feel more like this is yeah, and that's why this word connection is really just keeps driving in my brain. Like connection. There needs to be a connection to something, to someone. And maybe this is all about connecting with yourself, with, parts of you that are fighting yourself, instead of just moving on and letting go. And I get that a lot with my readings for myself, just because I'm not one for change. I'm not one to move out of a situation, even though I know it's a toxic situation. I get too comfortable in the uncomfortable. Like with this job. So I've been now promoted on my job. I have now got a raise, and it's not the life I wanted for myself. And I know that. My soul knows that. That's why I'm always so depressed, because I know what it's going to take and to get me out of this. But I'm also one for comfort and safety. And right now I'm safe because I have a good paying job. I have all the perks that comes with a good paying job. The perks of someone that knows what they're doing. People are starting to take me seriously. All the things I've ever wanted in a job. But I don't want a job. I want a career. I want the thing that makes me happy. I want those things. And I feel like it's almost like people are like, well, you got what you wanted, but it's not what I wanted. I wanted respect at the job I had. But in all honesty, if we're being truthful with ourselves, I don't want the job. I want the career I wanted since I've been a child. And I know it's going to be hard, back-breaking work to get where I want to be. And it's going to take me risking things. And I'm not one for risk or change. So maybe that is saying, you need to form a deeper connection with your true self and stop fighting this old self that's trying to fall away and move into these calmer waters of the new self. Because emotionally, mentally, because swords are all about the mind, if we stop fighting ourselves and move on and move out of this situation and just do the thing, then our mind will be much calmer. Not just the waters, but the mind will be much calmer. Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like it's yelling at me right now. This deck. So for the energy obstacle advice for the week. Advice, 9 of Wands. The 9 of Wands is you've been through it. You've been through it. You've been through all the crap. You've seen it all. You've done it all. And now you're, again, wanting this moment of safety, of relaxation, of a sense of normalcy. And I'm hearing there's not going to be a sense of normalcy until you follow your heart, until you connect head and heart. And again, it's all about connection. Connecting head and heart has always been the running theme of my life since I started reading tarot. It's always telling me, connect head and heart, and wondrous things will happen to you. And the 9 of Wands is saying, yeah, you've been through it, and you're looking for this temporary relief, but it's temporary. It's not going to satiate you like if you step into if you step into who you are. If you step into who you truly are, wondrous things will happen. And your mind will stop freaking out over, oh, I need to do this and this and this. I need to be safe. I need to do the grown-up thing and get a steady paycheck and blah, 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 blah. And you have kids and you have this and you have that. That's my mind all the time. So that's quite interesting. So the 9 of Wands is like, you've been through it. We recognize you've been through it. And you need a moment of rest, right? But that moment of rest can turn into something that's not good for you. You need to move into who you are. Wow. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys. That was deep. And I'm sorry. It's deep for a week ahead. Anyway, I challenge you to, if you have anything that comes up with connection this week, or even hear the word, comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Anyway, if any of this resonates, I would love to hear from you also. But yeah, that's all I got for the week ahead. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're loaded any future videos. Y'all have a good afternoon.